Hi everyone, I'm Richika Bindra, and today on #NoFilter we are talking about what is actually worrying millennials. Stay tuned on the other side of the break. Hello, York, Durham, Brampton, GTA, Peel, Toronto, everybody watching #NoFilter. I'm Richika Bindra, and this is our fabulous teen panelists, millennial panelists, adult panelists. Frank, Nikki, Claire, Tyler. I'm in a mood today. I'm in dark lipstick. I feel gothic, but...
You look great.
Thank you. Yeah. It's a Halloween kind of... I figured at least if it goes wrong, people will let it go because they'll be like, okay, it's a Halloween attempt. So it works in both ways.
Yeah, sure.
I have a Twitter bird on.
This is our trick then.
Tweet. Make
this
sure
is
you
the
tweet
trick.
us.
Yeah, tweet us. So, we are talking today about what issues are really facing millennials, what's going on in terms of research in the industry about millennials, and who else to better ask than our actual millennials getting real life firsthand experience. Don't forget to tweet us, and you can also follow us on www.rogerstv.com/nofilter. You can follow us at NoFilter Rogers on all social media platforms, and you can tweet us live during the show. Our fabulous social media guru, Cassandra, hi Cassandra, is going to be here throughout the show to take in your comments and feedbacks.
So
millennials. I'm going to call you millennials. Howdy.
All right.
Why are we one of the most talked about generation ever? We're the most talked about group, whether in terms of a social aspect, an economic aspect, politically what's going on. Millennials are grouped in every discussion. Is there a reason why? Versus, let's say, a baby boomer or Generation X, because population-wise, our numbers don't really matter whether we're more or less, because overall in the world, some countries are heavily populated, some are not. But as an actual group of millennials, why is everyone so engrossed in discussing us?
Well, we're the biggest, and maybe not the biggest in the sense that we've had the greatest population of a generation, but because of technology, I think it's made us seem like we're the biggest.
Right, okay.
Everyone's connected, everyone's living through the lives of their cell phones, and including all of us before the show here. And because of that, it seems like we just have such a grasp on the world. Communication is instantaneous, and it's kind of scary.
We're the turn of the century. We're literally the turn of the century. People use that as an expression, but literally we definitely see and reap the benefits of things like Y2K. Everyone was talking about how technology was gonna crash and cause all these issues, but
still might.
It literally has become injected into us, literally from schools. I walk into schools now, my brother's school, every single...
How old's your brother?
He's 14.
Okay.
Every single classroom has MacBooks in it, and I'm I can't even afford a MacBook, but the entire school has one. So I think everyone's so into talking about us because they're kind of watching how we're going to take this. Are we going to be able to excel with it, or is it going to sink us?
Claire?
We're just, as a generation, we're so different than all the previous ones. We have the need to document everything that we're doing all the time. And even though television and technology and the internet existed in the previous generations, it's just had a huge impact on us. We're using it to its full extent, and they keep coming up with new ways to use technology and social media. Everything is broadcasted, everything is out there for the world to see, and it's just so different, and it's crazy.
Yeah, I think it's partly because we were one of the first generations to be fully born into a fully realized internet and technological civilization. Because since day one, we've been experiencing the joys of the internet, all its goods and bads. We've become so connected with both each other and everyone else that we are definitely the most social and the most loud, the largest.
Can you say we're the most social though? Because socializing now with Generation X, which is birth year 93 and on, is this, as opposed to actually sitting in a room and conversing.
I think it goes
know?
both ways because technology does help us, but it also does set us back a bit. I've never been against technology for use of that. Maybe because I am so engrossed in it. But
Does it scare you, though? I'm just going to play devil's advocate that maybe even 10 years from now, forget 5, I'm going to really stretch it. 10 years from now, your kids are going to be, instead of going outside on the playground to play, because most parents today are like, you know what, that means I got to stop working, I got to stop cooking in the kitchen. Let's say I'm a mom, I came home from work, I have to stop doing that. I actually have to get up, get you warmed up, I got to go get myself out there. And if I had to, let's say, work from home, I can't do that, right? Like versus now, a lot of the moms are like, okay, I can give my kid an iPad. Okay, here's a YouTube show, watch it for an hour. I can finish working, cooking supper on the table as well. So has it become as well a convenient thing? And if so, what's going to happen in 10 years? Like, are we going to be able to be like, yeah, okay, take our kids outside and play? Is that even going to be something that exists? Because I was shocked this summer. Every single time I would walk outside, like, 'cause I live in Markham, right? So every single time I would walk outside, my street would have so many kids. And I was like, where is everybody? And like, I'd see once in a while in the evenings, moms and kids going for walks, and the kids are not even in the walk, like participating. The kids are on their phone, they're finding Pokemons, they're pulling my hair to find Pokemons, I'm tripping over Pokemon. Like, it's just, I just want to know, when are we zoning in? And then if we're always zoned in, when do we zone out?
Well, you mentioned in 10 years, sorry to cut everyone off at the same time there, but you mentioned in 10 years from now when we have kids, I tell you what, my biggest fear is my little boy or little girl in 10 years from now walking into the house after school and I say, hey, sweetie, how was your day? And you know what the response is? Oh, check my Instagram feed for how my day was, or check Twitter for how my day was. You know what I mean?
Sassy little one you got there.
No, sassy, but that could be the direction that we're moving in here,
Yeah, honestly.
Exactly. So we have this fear that what technology might do eventually is, in a way, it's brought us closer in terms of knowing things around the world. So it's brought us closer in terms of culture, cross-culture, right? If I want to know what's happening today in LA, or if I want to know what's happening, in India or Singapore, or in Jamaica, you can do that. You can find that newspaper online. You can find that social media model you want to know, whatever it is that you're craving, you can get that. But at the end of the day, exactly like you said, is it going to come to a point where our immediate closeness is going to disappear? We're going to become distant when we're near each other, but we're going to become very close with other cultures around us because of the way the internet works, right?
I think partially the reason for it moving in that direction is because of workloads. Like, for example, you were talking about how, I've got this to do, I can't be with my kid and bring them
Hold
to the
that
park.
thought, Taylor. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk about what exactly it is that we think technology is going to do, and tweet us if you think that we are on the right path. Stay tuned, everyone. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Richika Bindra, and you are tuned into #NoFilter. Don't forget to tweet us throughout the show at NoFilterRogers. And you can also follow us on all social media platforms and go on our website at www.rogerstv.com/nofilter to stay up to date and give us your feedback and comments. Before the break, we were talking to Tyler about kind of the distance that it causes. Frank gave a really good point. Is his kid going to come home in 10 years and say, I don't really know, don't ask me how my day was. Go check online. Before we get into that, we have been getting so many tweets. Thank you guys so much. Cassandra, I will take it over to you. What are people saying?
Okay, so thank you to everyone who started to tweet. You guys have been talking a lot about where technology is going and how millennials are so consumed by the internet. So we got a tweet in here from Samantha. He said, there have been numerous efforts in the media to squash body shaming. Do you think they're working? I think this is something great that you guys could talk about.
Cass, what do you think? Always throwing the baton over here.
I definitely think they are working, considering we even talked about this in the last episode. Everything is so pro-feminism, even a lot of modeling agencies now are taking plus size models. So I definitely think we are moving a step forward. What do you guys think?
Millennials?
I think we're starting to get there, but I don't think we're quite there yet. I don't think it's gotten to the point where we can say, yeah, it's become more mainstream for models to be plus size or for people to stop fat shaming. It's not quite there yet, but we are starting.
Yeah, I think in Canada and the States, it's still a really big issue. It's a lot of photoshopping in magazines, just really false advertising of how women really look, like enlarging of breast sizes and a lot of plastic surgery even happening in like celebrities and that kind of thing. That's just making young women feel so insecure about their bodies and everything. And I think France and other places are doing really good jobs. They're actually, I'm not sure exactly what's happening there, but they're banning the use of too skinny models because it's creating such a problem there. There are really high suicide rates. I think that there was some statistic when it comes to that, but other countries are doing really well with it. I definitely think that we could improve with it just because there are still so many issues and a lot of controversy when it comes to body image.
It's fun you say that, and I thought about the other day it made it on national TV as a national news, so it's big enough that it would come up as that millennials are one of the generations that are having the most work done to themselves. So basically, men and women are getting work done to their bodies at a younger age compared to what's been happening in the past. Hence why when they did the research, they said basically we can club it into literally the millennial age group. With girls, doing their eyebrows to getting their lips done. Men are even going in for work,
Like Tay with his hair here. Looks fantastic.
Your hair takes you like 12 hours a week. We get stylists flown in for you. I mean, that's what, that's the kind of work
I
it
wish.
does.
It looks great though. It matches the backdrop perfectly.
Oh, I know, right? I'm a chameleon. My aesthetic is no
You're
filter
blending
now.
in. Yeah, no
Yeah.
filter. Good. So does that bother you? Like, I remember when I saw that on the news, I was like, really? Are we that obsessed with each other in a generation where we're trying to be exactly pro-feminist, trying to, pitch for campaigns which are against stereotyping what body images should be in the media. One side we're claiming to do that, but on the other side stats are showing that we're getting the most work done, which obviously means we see ourselves as imperfect and we see ourselves that we need to change.
Well, there's a difference between getting work done and working on yourself. I think that's
Right.
one thing that you should clarify as well. If someone goes to the gym, takes care of their body,
Right.
That's not considered.
No.
We're talking about cosmetically.
We're talking about cosmetic work that's
Yeah.
being done. They're working to enhance and change their features.
Yeah, I could use
in a
my nose
way.
fixed. I broke it a bunch of times, but I don't know
Are you
if
going to do that?
I don't know. Do you think I should?
I think it's fun.
You guys think so? Okay.
Gives it personality.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, my brother broke his, and I told him to definitely.
Would he fix it though?
No, he's still indicating to the left. So,
Okay.
like, just
So
leave it
Nikki,
there.
what do you think? Like, as a girl, I'm sure you've seen a lot of women getting, what's the thing a lot of young girls I know do, they get their lips done. Like it's nothing.
You have to understand, there was a time when you were being compared to your little small town, and you had that one girl in high school that everybody hates because she's the prettiest girl and all these things, but you're compared to one person. Now you're being compared to literally a plethora of different people across the world and we have to understand that Instagram and social media portray everyone in a light that is not always truly who they are. Like, you really I highly doubt me rolling out of bed will ever be on anybody's Instagram, okay? You're only gonna ever see me like dolled up or a picture that I think I look aesthetically good. So for me, it's hard because I grew up younger, when I was younger, I grew up with eczema. I had that issue. I grew up having to learn to love myself because my skin was different. I eventually grew out of it, still have outbreaks, whatever, but there are girls now who see things about themselves that they can't necessarily fix, but they can't find the beauty in it. And there's such an easy fix. And you see girls like, for example, I hate to talk about it, but Kylie Jenner, who sits here and explains like, she didn't love her lips, she didn't feel good about herself. And I like the way she went about it in the sense that she was doing it for her, but she has to understand, and you might not have asked to be, but you're a public figure. And I think even though you might have done it solely to make yourself feel better, you don't understand that there are so many people who are like, now that she did that, I have to do that too.
Exactly. And getting back to our tweet, it's not going to stop until the public figures and the people that we look up to, they start to,
downsize on themselves.
downsize on that as
and
well.
no,
Yeah.
right? Because there's two things. Did she really do it for herself? Probably not. Because at the end of the day, if she wasn't in the limelight and she didn't feel like she had to compare with herself with other people, her sisters, in the industry and other people her age, she probably wouldn't have. And B, girls were getting those lip machines or whatever, those little plastic things to plump their lips like her, causing damage to their lips, and she was promoting that. She also came up with strategically a few months later, she came up with a really, really good lipstick line that worked with her plump lips. So I don't know if she necessarily did it for herself. I think it's a great PR presentation of it. But at the end of the day, I think, you know, he hits on that point that if you are in the public figure and you're going to do these things, more and more women and men are going to see these things, and they're going to want to now not only compare it to the high school, you know, girl that was always pretty or the really good looking jock guy. They want to look like everybody else around them. And if the social media is portraying all these people as looking this fabulous and amazing, then obviously you begin to develop a complex, right?
At the same time, though, because obviously the celebrities are in the limelight, this also does really affect them because they have to portray themselves. And because you said, even Kylie Jenner was like, oh, I have to do this because I'm being expected to look like this or be this, it sort of creates an environment where it affects everyone and everyone's contributing to the same cause that affects them.
Yep, it's a push and pull.
It sucks.
Vicious
On
cycle.
the other side of the break, we are going to talk about why are millennials one of the groups that are considered the most depressed, even though stats-wise we have everything. Stay tuned, everybody. Yeah. Welcome back, everybody. I'm Rishika Bindra, and you are watching #NoFilter with our amazing, amazing millennials. We have Frank, Nikki, Claire, and Taylor, and I cannot forget Cassandra. Hi, Cass.
Hi.
Cass, you feel distant from me this season.
I know, I
because
do.
we're
I
so
feel
far
kind of
away.
distant.
Cass, can you please tell me what we are getting tweeted in?
So you were saying that you think millennials are the most depressed generation of all, and I totally agree. And I think that's because there's so much pressure on us to figure out what we want to do in life. So we got a tweet in from Justin. He said, how can college students who don't know what they will do as a full-time career try to find something they love? #worrying. So is this something you guys worry about as well?
Tell him I said #NoFilter. No.
That solves all the problems.
That solves all the problems. #NoFilter. Well, you know what, Cassandra, from my viewpoint, I think everybody is going to go through that struggle when you're in school, you're getting out of school, you're at that point where you're trying to find something. And it's a part and parcel of getting into any industry you're trying to get into. There is no job today. Even people I know that are graduated as doctors, it takes some time to find a place to do, you know, even something as simple as family medicine, which in the medical field is considered, you know, the most basic for them. Even finding that, they struggle. Not only are they so out of debt coming out of school, so they need to find clinics that see such a large volume of patients to help them pay that off. So it's, you know, whatever industry you're in, I think that struggle is going to be there. You need to network, you need to get out there. That's my advice. Millennials?
I don't even have an answer yet.
Yeah, it's a tough thing to talk about. The other, a big thing I think is, and from somebody who's been to university and graduated, been through it, a lot of people go to school maybe right out of high school, which all the time is not necessarily the best decision. You know, they feel like they're forced from high school to immediately get into college, university, and okay, I have to decide when I'm 18 years old, the summer of me graduating high school, what do I want to do with the rest of my life? And it's a tough thing to do. A lot of times what you want to do, your passion in life, it sort of just comes to you. It could be when you're 20, 25, 30, who knows? Hopefully not 30, you know, you have bills to pay, but no. But it could be a tough thing, and you know, #worrying. You know.
Okay.
I mean, I'm the youngest one here. This is my last year of high school, so I'm just deciding where I want to go. From what I know and from what I'm trying to do for myself is just finding something that I like to do, and then I like enough to stick through it and keep going and see, can I make a career out of this? Can I enjoy a career out of this? Can I, even if there is no jobs after I leave school, can I still stick with it enough to try and get somewhere?
And here's another thing, you don't have to stick with it forever, right? And that's what a lot of people don't think. They think the decision I make today, I have to stay with forever.
Well, stats will show people have between 5 and 5+ jobs in their 20s alone.
When I graduated, I was always like, okay, I'm going to go into TV, I'm going to go into media. And right when I graduated, it didn't happen at all for me. I ended up going into the fashion industry and I loved it. And I never thought I would. Like growing up, I never thought I would find myself in that path. And if I hadn't found an opportunity back into media, I would have been more than happy to grow in fashion because I also loved it. And I would have never thought that. So I think, like you said, you're going to switch jobs, you're going to switch industries, careers and things that you like will come to you. And sometimes you do a job and you're like, I actually don't like this. This is not what I imagined it to be. And I think that's okay. And I think as millennials, we have this stress because we see, our parents so successful, or we see people around us that are older so successful. We also don't realize that they did it at a different time. If they've made where they are, let's just say, if they've made their first Fortune 500 or whatever, millions at 50, we're in our head, we want to achieve it at 35. And we forget that the journey still takes time. So that's what I think I would give as an advice. So please continue to tweet us. Cass, we will check back with you shortly. So guys, why are we researched as being the most oppressed? We have everything. We have options of startups. We have options of flying tomorrow across the world for a job. If you want to go to Dubai and intern, you can. We have an access to so many tools and so much more networking and so much more communication. So then what's wrong?
That is the problem.
That you have too much?
We have way too much.
Okay.
It's all at our fingertips, and it's like, what can you want? What desires can you say you have that you can't attain or have right in front of you right then and there at that moment? Like you said, you can fly across the world. If you want to intern here, if you want to do this, if you want to have that, you work hard enough for it. I mean, you don't even have to, if it comes down to even wanting a bag, you don't even have to have the real version of the bag. You could literally have a fake designer bag and no one would know. The issue is we have everything. So it's like you don't get to enjoy the little things. You're not enjoying the little moments. Nothing brings you joy anymore because we're trying to keep up with everything that's coming at us. Oh, this person went to Dubai, well, I'm going to Australia. Well, she has a Gucci, I'm getting a Chanel. Everybody is constantly just trying to keep up. We're not trying to enjoy the day we're living in. We're not trying to enjoy the moments we're living in. We're not trying to enjoy the people around us. We want to keep going. We want to have status. We want to be known. We want,
That's a good point.
That's our
I like
issue.
that. We're here for a good time, not a long time.
Exactly.
People seem to forget that sometime.
Exactly.
That rhymed too.
I think also part of it is...
That's Drake.
What is it actually?
That is Drake.
Hey.
Oh, man.
And the sex, everybody. Millennial talk.
I think part of it would be going back to getting a job and seeing this picture of our parents being successful and then we suddenly have to be successful. Because there's so much, I think, because we have so much, there's so much expected of us. And I think that when people feel they start to fall short, that's when things start hitting and that's when they start falling behind, and then it's just a vicious cycle down because they're like, oh, everyone's expecting so much of me, but I can't perform to that standard, to their standards, and then it just starts going down from there.
Also, there's a lot of pressure from parents nowadays as well. Some parents are very strict about what they want their children to go into, and there's a lot of pressure on them. Let's say they have hobbies in things like fashion and design, and maybe their parents are doctors and they want them to be a doctor or a lawyer, that kind of thing. Some families have preferences for their children, and that makes it really stressful for them, and they might go into something that they're not passionate about, but they're doing it so they can please other people around them.
But do you think that's changed? Do you think that's just a millennial thing? Because I feel like that's been there in my generation, it's been there for my parents' generation. The expectation we have in a family space towards our kids is, it's the typical thing. I don't want my kid to struggle. I don't want my kid to go through what I went through. I don't want my kid to face that. So if I'm a dentist or I'm a doctor, I know that this is an established field. You should do that. So do you really think that we have higher expectations these generations?
I think so, because there's been so much of, oh, we didn't have this when we were kids. You have this, you can do this, you can do this, you can do that. And it's constantly the parents pushing the kid to do something that they just don't want to do or can't do. But this is here, but you have this. It's sort of, they expect more because they're given more. And that's it's not a good cycle to be in.
Okay.
There you go.
Scary.
Do we all agree?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
On the other
Good
side of the
point.
break, I want to know exactly how many times a day do you guys go on your phone in terms of checking into social media, and when do you actually zone out and make time for yourself? Tune in, everybody, on the other side of the break. I'm Rachika Binder, and this is #NoFilter. Welcome back, GTA viewers, Toronto viewers, hashtag no filter viewers. I'm Rishika Bindra, and you are watching hashtag no filter. I know I said that before, but hashtag no filter. You need to go to sleep and remember hashtag no filter. With our fabulous millennials that have been contributing such great information, we have Nikki, we have Claire, we have Tyler, we have Frank. I switched up the names a little bit, but everyone knows who they are already. Cass.
Hey, so before the break, you guys were talking a lot about how, you know, as millennials, we're looking at our phones way too much. So we got in a comment here, and it says, I think we buy too much into everyone's social appearance, and we don't realize how many filters have been applied. And Nikki, you talked about this earlier in the show, that we care way too much about what our friends are doing, what's trending, what's popular, and we don't realize that people are putting online just what they want you to see. You're not seeing the true struggles a person's going through or what their life is actually like. And I think as millennials, we're really affected by that.
It's funny you say that because last week I went to Casa Loma for the Halloween haunt, which was really fun.
See any ghosts?
No, I didn't, unfortunately.
boring.
I saw like a skeleton cemetery. It was really cool. But I went there and I decided I wasn't gonna wear makeup because I'm like, I'm going indoors. Like, who's gonna see me? I need a day off from like having my face on, as we call it, as millennials. And I was about to post a picture with my girlfriends, and one of my girlfriends goes, hold on, you can't do that. You're on TV. You need to have makeup on. And I'm like, no, I'm not on TV. I'm on Instagram. She's like, no. You're going to just post it like that? And I was like, yeah, I'm just going to take that camera now and not filter it and post it. And when I wrote hashtag no filter, people thought it was my show's no filter, but I was like, no, I actually had to write I have no makeup on. And I think it's true. Why is it such a discussion? Why are we so scared to project ourselves as who we are? Why does people are posting their foods, all their foods look lavish and delicious on Saturday morning. For Saturday morning, my breakfast doesn't look that good. Why can't we just post the reality of our lives? Why are we out to create, I think, a dream of what we're living versus what we actually are?
Because we are living in a dream.
It's a competition.
Pop, there's your bubble popped.
No, seriously, if you really think about it, it is a competition. You're right, Claire. And the reality of things is that we're not.
It's an augmented reality.
It's an augmented reality. It's literally
Or a
like
fragmented reality
it's like
if
the
you wanna
looking
get
glass. Like,
philosophical.
Oh yeah, there you go. Bang.
we're literally looking in on what we want people to perceive us as or be. So, I mean, I don't mind as well. Like, I go to work without makeup, and the girls I work with are like, oh my gosh, Nikki, you never have on makeup. I'm like, I don't got the patience. I don't care. So, no, it's not happening.
What's your favorite Instagram filter? Everyone has one.
I don't have a favorite
No?
Instagram filter, but if we're talking Snapchat.
Sure. Don't say the dog face. I'll
It's
get up
the
and
dog
walk out
face.
right now.
It's actually
No, you
not
can't
the
walk
dog
out right
face.
now. Your viewers want to see you.
I like the one.
With the dog face?
It's not the flower crown. I like the one where it makes your face like smushed in your,
my
your
God.
The sad one.
like the like guppy face thing. It has like
Okay,
fangs.
so my
right up
favorite
on
Instagram filter is Amaro.
That's a good one. I like
Yeah.
Nashville.
Nashville's cool too.
Yeah.
I've never used an Instagram filter.
Oh, with that hair, you don't need to.
Tyler, with
Yeah.
your hair, it's gonna just take
Yeah,
the
it's
color
gonna
away.
it's either gonna dull the color or it's
Oh,
gonna
yeah.
By
make
the
it
end of
just-
the show, his hair is gonna be like more tweeted
Look at
about
that.
than our actual topic.
Honestly.
But I'm okay with that. Okay, so yeah, guys, depression. What a
Segueing
lot
back
of
into
research
that.
has come to show, and like you guys touched up on it, and I think it's true. And a few millennials had tweeted us about this last week as well. Is that we're always zoned into something. You know, we're on the bus, we're zoned into talking to our friends. We're zoned in when we get to work and we talk to our coworkers about what happened on the weekend. We're zoned in on Snapchat. We're zoned in on social media. We're zoned in watching TV. We're zoned in. When are we actually? And then when we go to bed, before we're on bed, we're putting an alarm and we're quickly checking our social media. Did we miss anything? Putting our phone, plugging in, and by then your eyes are, you're passing out. When are you actually sitting down and saying, I'm going to take 4 hours and do nothing. I'm going to take an hour and literally just sit on the couch and be with myself, be with my thoughts, figure out who I am, get an understanding of what am I feeling like today? Why am I feeling down today? Or why am I feeling so happy today? What's going on? What's my body telling me? How am I feeling? Like, eating wise, did I overeat? Why am I what's going on with me? We're never, we fear that. We fear being able to be alone. So the few moments we do, we begin to almost fall into thoughts of stress and depression because we start to analyze things about ourselves once in a while, versus if every day you said, okay, I'm going to take 5 minutes a day, I'm going to sit down and think about myself.
Well, there is a way
right?
to do that. Okay, and I found it's helped me too at times when I've been working. Is you get in, you delete all your apps off your phone for Maybe not all.
Okay, maybe not
all, okay.
delete. Maybe not delete.
No,
is a big word.
you gotta delete them. You delete them all off your phone. You can re-download them in 2 seconds. Takes 2 seconds.
Not with my internet.
Well,
3 years.
I mean, you may be on the dial-up still. I don't know what's going on.
need
but,
to be with
but
Rogers.
the point is, you delete all them for a few hours, and that way you don't give yourself the option. You're looking at me like I'm from Jupiter. You don't give yourself the option of opening it up. Trust me, try it out.
Okay,
it
but
helps.
why don't you just put your phone in airplane mode? But
I don't
No,
trust
because
myself
that's not that
much.
easy. Because
how
then
does
you can
that?
just.
But why are we unable to take? But even there, you're at work. What studies are saying is we need to take 5 minutes a day. All it takes is 5 minutes. And I've started to do this, it's been about a month, and it really helps. I go home, I take a shower, I go into my room. Before I do anything, I'll plug in my phone to charge, I'll grab like a glass of water, and I'll just sit down and I'll be like, literally, I'm gonna take a few minutes and I just think, what's going through my mind? How am I feeling? Sometimes I have empty thoughts. Sometimes I have thoughts about the silliest thing. Sometimes I go into deep thoughts, but I'm like, I need to be aware of how I'm feeling every day, because the closer we get to that, mental health occurs when a lot of people suppress themselves. They hold things in. So if I'm this girl that's always on the go, and I'm go, and I'm going into work and I'm social, and I'm going online and I'm social, and I'm tweeting about my weekend, when am I really figuring myself out? The one few times that I do sit down, I begin to have a panic attack. So I'm like, whoa. You begin to start feeling empty, but you're not facing it every day, right? Like small steps is what I'm saying before you crash and burn. So that's something I do recommend for all our viewers.
And delete your apps.
She says to delete your apps. I don't have the patience to read them.
No.
Take a few
Don't do it.
minutes to
Don't listen to
yourself, by yourself. Go for a walk at lunch. Sometimes I'm literally like, I tell my coworkers, I'm like, don't, I'm not joining you guys. I'll grab like just my jacket and I'll head out. I'll leave my phone at work in my locker, and I'm like, I just need some 10, 15 minutes to myself. And sometimes it's nice. It's nice not being able to be traced. It's nice to not have to worry, look at the time. I even leave my watch upstairs and I'm like, I'm just gonna go.
Because
Right?
so many people have such an attachment with their phones.
Exactly.
They can't put it down. It has to be on them all the time. I'm fortunate that I didn't grow up where it was very necessary. Some people that I know, like public school, they're in grade 4, they have a cell phone already. I'm looking at that, I'm like, I got my first phone when I was halfway through high school. And it wasn't as necessary as it is now in the younger generations. It's actually scary because these kids are so, it has to be on them. It's always in their face. It's nothing like, they're not going outside and playing in the playground like we used to as kids. They're literally like, oh, I'm just gonna go on the Xbox, I'm just gonna go on the iPad for the whole entire day. And it's scary. And I think that's actually a really big cause of depression, because kids these days, and young adults as well, they're hiding behind their cell phones and they're hiding behind their devices, and they're not speaking out about it. They might be typing away on Twitter about their problems, but having that physical interaction with people about their problems
Hold
is a
that
really
thought,
big.
Claire. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk about what the future lies for not us as millennials, but these little baby kids in school. Huge break of hashtag no filter. Millennials, man. Hi, everybody. I'm Rich Kabindra, and on the last segment of hashtag No Filter, we are talking about millennials and the future to come. I have a really quick question for you guys. Don't laugh at me.
No, not laugh at you.
Okay. Why can't millennials keep a secret? I know it sounds like a small thing, but it's a really big thing. And you know who I'm going to ask about this? Cassandra. Why can't millennials keep a secret?
You know what? I think it's just what we're surrounded by. We're surrounded by social media. We're surrounded by, we're so caught up in what everyone else thinks of us. So we feel the need to just inform everyone on what we're doing. And we actually got a tweet about that relates to exactly what you just asked me.
I'm psychic.
You
Call
are.
me for psychic readings.
So we got a comment in, and it says, we live in a society where we throw away a house over a broken light bulb. And that could be relationships, family, jobs. And I think this is so relevant because I find that with millennials today. We don't like a job, we quit it. We don't like one of our friends, we have a problem with them, we don't talk it through, we just leave them. So
That's
what do
a
you
really
guys
good
think?
tweet. So thank you so much for whoever tweeted that. That was amazing. What do you guys think? And I've heard this expression a lot. We change the house because the light bulb is broken. We don't fix the light bulb. We don't fix the house anymore. Why?
We're giver-uppers.
I think I'm out of my depth here because I grew up in a household where everything had a use again, and we could always do something with this. Nothing's ever really broken, unless it's like literally dust, and then you throw it out. So I think I'm out of this conversation.
All right, see ya.
No, not necessarily. Maybe attention. attention. That's what I wanted to say. It's an attention thing. Because you draw attention to yourself, you draw attention to the party involved. You almost might want that party to contact. Like, I know girls who will like block their boyfriend, like delete all the pictures and throw up that like single or whatever if something happens, but they're looking for him to interact with them in some way.
So it's an attention tactic.
It's more of an attention thing.
And I also think, as you guys said, with us always feeling like we're competing with people more and more, it's almost like, okay, well, we're not working out. Okay, well, instead of me trying to fix it, you know what? There's probably someone better than you out there for me. We're always on this search to prove to ourselves that we can achieve it all. And rather than saying, okay, maybe this is amazing, maybe this person here is great, and I just need to fix it. We need to work on things. You know, our parents used to go through issues, and they used to face, I'm sure, so many discussions. Couples before us went through that, but for some reason, as millennials, and I agree with this statement, we rather change the house than fix the light bulb.
I like what you said.
It seems easier. There's less work to do almost,
Yeah,
right?
definitely, and less work to do, and that comes down to as well, you mentioned attention, but people being lazy is a
Right.
huge aspect of that as well.
We're so lazy.
Everyone in our generation is. Sometimes it takes me 25 minutes to get up out of bed in the morning because I'm so lazy. It sucks. We're all lazy in our own little ways, and it's a big problem with our generation, but that goes back to if something is broke, it's a lot easier to just shoot aside. A lot less effort, a lot less time to just put it aside than to actually take a moment to look into it and fix it.
Yeah,
And
honestly.
going on that, the last thing that I found that I really, really want to talk to you guys about and our viewers as well is I read somewhere that millennials don't believe in love. We believe that love is convenient, meaning I was reading and what they were saying is that we in our head are more realistic, so we think we are. So we're like, well, love doesn't exist. It's just convenience. It's two people coming together, making it work. If you work with me, if your goals align with mine, if you want to be in the same, you know, sort of life that I envision, we kind of find it. And I think that's why we're quick to jump, because if I feel, okay, you and me are not working, all I'm going to say is, oh, well, our goals don't align. I'll find somebody else that I'm going to like. Do you think that's true, or do you think that's just something that we can debunk?
I think that's sort of a 50-50. That might be like it's like a projection of what other people think of millennials, because parts of that may stem from technology, like everything does. All the romantic media out there, movies, books, it's sort of contributes to that, I think. So we sort of grow up with a skewed
Skewed, good
view.
word. I like that, skewed. Perfect word for it.
It's a skewed
Yes.
view of love, and I think that's part of what it is.
There's a saying that people use, young people can't fall in love, or they don't know the true meaning of love, and I seriously disagree with that. Also, there's another saying, are you in love? Are you in love with the idea of being in love? It's very controversial. I think when you're young, you should be able to fall in love. You should be able to go and live your life, experience, and just figure out, honestly, just like it's an experimental period. Like when you're young, you want to figure your things out. I think you can fall in love. It's just, I don't know.
That's a really good point. I think it's normal to experiment. A lot of
Yeah,
people today are
definitely.
like, we're almost, as millennials, we're divided in two groups. We're divided in the conservative millennials, and we're divided in like the democratic or liberal millennials, where we're almost very like, well, you need to go through different struggles. You need to fall flat on your face 30 times. You need to go through different relationships to value the one you have, you know? And then we have so many people that are like, well, no, I'm going to be calm, and we have all these tools, and we're going to take it, and I'm going to analyze and wait for the right person, and they'll come. And I don't think there's a right answer. But I think that also adds to the confusion, right? Because as a generation, we're polar opposites between each other. You're probably even sitting in this room, your view and my view is so different.
Yeah, and it's hard
Right?
because we have, like, as we talked about, we have attention issues, we have trust issues, like we're lazy. I think relationships, it comes into play as well too, because let's say there's an issue in a relationship. Are you gonna go to the extent to solve that issue, or are you just gonna say, oh, I can just find myself a new boyfriend? Like, people don't try. Like, I'm speaking like two different views here. Some people do try, some people may not try, but relationships, you look at them in the past, people were more conversation with each other, they would talk about it. Now it's like texting, it's all this technology stuff, like people hear, oh, did he cheat on me, that kind of thing. It's scary, and people don't want to talk about it, and they just take shortcuts, and they don't want to work towards a solution, and it's really difficult. Nowadays, it's like relationships are lasting 2 days, and it's difficult.
Even my high school relationship lasted 7 days. Come on, guys. Give me more than 2 days. Kidding. On the other side of the break, we are going to talk about the future for millennials and where we see things going. Stay tuned, everybody. I'm Rich Kabinder, and you are watching #NoFilter. Hi everybody, I am Rich Kabinder, in case you didn't know in the last few minutes, and you are watching #NoFilter. I'm very feisty today.
It's the lipstick.
It's the lipstick. The lipstick is making me very
It's also the Twitter shirt. You're just kind of all over the place.
It's the Twitter shirt.
I think we like personality.
Yeah, I don't know. Okay. Cass, do you have a tweet for us really quick?
Yeah, so you were talking a lot about how millennials are in this spot where they are somewhat conservative, somewhat wanting to experiment with everything. We got a tweet in from Brianna, and she said, should millennials cover their tattoos for work interviews? So a lot of millennials are really worried about their careers and figuring themselves out, and this is again going with conservative or express yourself. So what do you guys think?
Okay.
This is 2016.
Here's my opinion. It shouldn't matter on the year. It shouldn't matter on for what reason you got the tattoo. If you regret having it at 12 and now you're 40 and you're going for your first job interview, whatever it is, every job requires a different persona. How you sell yourself, every job is different. If you're working in the media industry, in the arts industry, we're all about creative and artsy kind of look, so that vibe works for you. It gives a very approachable, laid back, person. It works. If you're going into a corporate finance sector, when you're working with, assets and wealth management, and you're actually going in to meet clients, yeah, it's probably not going to sell yourself as a very academic and very, that kind of strict financial person. So in everything, it's like you say, pick the best actor for the role, doesn't mean it's a bad actor. So I think tattoos work. There's nothing wrong with them. My take is I would just go with the nature of the environment. Look at where you're going to apply. Are you going to a conservative firm? Are you going to a really fashion-forward firm? Are you going to a very firm that requires you to have that kind of a look? So that's my take, guys.
Well, most tattoos are covered up anyways, unless you have sleeves or on your neck, or you're in a gang and you got them on your face. There shouldn't be that. It shouldn't be that big of an issue. The biggest one is sleeves, probably. But like you said, hands too. Yeah, but most people have ones in their hands. They're just little
very
tiny
small,
ones.
Yeah.
No. My friend's hands are covered. 2 of them, words like death before dishonor. One has a dragon on her head.
That's intense.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. You know what? It depends, like you said, on what position it is. If you want to be a mechanic, then you're probably fine to sleeve yourself up.
Yeah.
But if you want to be a kindergarten teacher, that's probably not a good idea.
Claire,
That depends on your
what's your
tattoos.
opinion?
I agree. It depends on the atmosphere and the culture of whatever field that you're in. But I also think that we're getting to a certain point that we should be able to, show who we are through however we want to display ourselves. If we want to have tattoos, if we want to have piercings, it shouldn't matter. And I know it does matter. And hair, I love the hair. And people might not see that as being professional or displaying yourself as a respectable person if you have piercings or tattoos on your face or where they're really noticeable. But I do think that we should be growing as a generation, and in industries that are more strict about it, they should be able to see the light, and they should see that this is how people want to, that's who they are as a person. And that shouldn't reflect on if they do or don't get a job, that kind of thing.
Cool. No, I think that's a really cool spin to it too, to consider.
I just think it contradicts the the old saying, don't judge a book by its cover. At the end of the day, you don't know what someone could be such an asset
But at
to
the
you.
end of the day, contradicts that. There's a quote that says, we eat for ourselves, we dress for others. So.
Fair. I understand that. But it doesn't necessarily to me, it's like you're trying to define who someone is based on something that could mean a lot to them in one way or another.
Right.
In one breath, we're being, told that we're not expressive enough, we don't do enough for ourselves, we are kind of very inclusive, we recluse in ourselves, whatnot. And then the minute we do something that makes us feel good, makes us feel open, makes us feel out, it's like,
It's frowned
that's
upon.
that's not the best way to go.
wrong.
You should have done it on paper.
Absolutely.
You never know, in all honesty. Don't get me wrong, I understand if, like you said, if you're working as a school teacher, okay, probably not the best to have like tattoos on your arms, but
Well, it depends on that tattoos. If you get like skulls and things.
But it's
versus,
true,
like,
we do judge ourselves by.
Tables on your forearm or something. That would make sense. You could just teach the kids like that,
Well,
depends.
it's true.
Yeah.
People judge you in the first 10 seconds from how you look and see, right? So
just how we
impressions
are.
do count. But thank you for that tweet. You know what I think, really quick, because we have about, not even a minute to our show's wrap. I think in 10 years, we're going to hit a crash. I don't think in 10, 15 years, our kids are going to be, like now how the next years our kids are all like iPad tech savvy. I think we're going to crash and we're kind of going to go back to a little bit the older ways. I think there's going to be some change because I don't know from here where else we can go unless we're all moving to Mars, which is very possible too in 50, 60 years.
Probably it's already happening.
So on the other side of the break, our show ends, unfortunately. So tweet us, give us your thoughts on this episode. Next week, we are talking about something really cool. We are talking about weddings and the millennial obsession with having a celebrity-style wedding when you're not. Stay tuned next week, everyone. I'm Richika Bindra. Bye.